In this exercise, we're going to be talking about drawing standards. Now, we discussed drawing styles in the previous exercise where we were able to come in and adjust things like dimension styles and text styles. But if we come up back into the styles editor and we come up to the top, we see that we actually have a drawing standard. And what this is a collection of all of your styles. So you can set this up as your global, and then you could save this out. So for example, this drawing standard has multiple dimension styles. And so this is kind of everything that's available to you in this style. It's very easy to export this out. You can go in here, export, and now you can bring that into a drawing. So if you've created it in your template and you need to bring it into an older drawing that's already created, this will bring in all of your different styles that you've modified. So all your object defaults, all of your text dimensions, everything that you've modified a style on, the dimension standard that you create brings that all with it. And you can even turn on and off different things. I could say all styles. So you could see here, here's all the styles I have, but these are the only ones available inside of Andy. If I look at my object defaults, we talked about editing these the last time, where you need to come in here and tell it, okay, now all the dimensions need to use, the default Andy. This is based on my standard. So this just shows me what all of them are and tells me, hey, I need to come back over here to my object defaults and create a new object default that's based on mine. I always try to rename as much as I can. Number one, that lets me know that I've changed it so I don't forget. So now I can come back in here and I can finish the job of going through and putting all these in. I do like to have only local styles turned on whenever I do this, just because it makes it a little bit easier to find all of them. Because you can get really messy in there if you have, all the styles, and it takes you a while to search through them all to find them all. So now I have all these fully updated. I hit save, come back up to my Andy standard, and I can take a look, and I can see all these are now defaulted to Andy. And you can also look at the material hatch patterns. What you can do here is you can actually go through your material list, and there's a bunch of standards on what the hatch pattern should look like for a traditional style. And you can come in here and set all these up. And what that means is whenever you cut section views in your drawings, it'll automatically use this type of hatch pattern. So it'll remember every time to use, the steel hatch pattern for the steel. There's one for aluminum. There's one for plastics. There's one for, all the different material types. And you could set these up so that it will go through and automatically apply them whenever you cut a section. Overall, we have some preset values for line weights so that it can go through and know which line weights to use. We can exclude characters here out of revision tables, whole tables, view names. I can be confused for 1, O can be confused for 0. Not sure why they don't like Q, or S can be confused for 5. They don't like X and Z for some reason for revision tables and view names. If you deal with an international company, you could have a problem some other languages where that becomes an issue as well. And you can exclude or include anything you want as far as characters there. You can set the default styles units. This isn't going to be the overall units. This is only going to be the style units for this drawing standard. Get done, we hit save. I suggest that you export a copy out. Say export. Say backup. Today's date. Save. And so now there is a copy of that saved out onto the server, onto my backup hard drive, or wherever I normally keep important information in case I lose everything. Computer crashes. It's also good whenever you go to upgrade to the next version. And if you just have a problem with people getting in there and messing up with the network version of it, it's good to have a copy out there that's fresh and clean that you can always restore if you have to. So understand that the drawing standard isn't really going to override anything. This isn't going to be like a CAD standard that can enforce by itself, but it's a good way to go through and have this group of standards for everybody or even just for yourself, so that everything is preset and it's the same and repeatable every time in all of your drawings. So take a look at the drawing standards. Hopefully you understand kind of the difference between the drawing styles and the drawing standards. Standard is kind of a group of styles. So you have the styles of the individual objects, and the standard is made up of several different groups of styles. So take a look at that, see if that makes sense to you. Hopefully it does. Don't forget that you need to create a new version every time you want to modify one of the ones out of the box. This kind of does two folds. It lets you know that you modified it, and then it also keeps you from overriding it with the original out of the box from another drawing. Take a look at it and play with it and see what you can do.